Got data you want to make available to users for exploration, visualization, and analysis? In SAP Analytics Cloud, you can create models by importing data from a wide range of data sources, where the data provides a jumping-off point for cleansing and transformation. You can create a model based on an import data source or on live data. Here, you'll start with data. The option to start with an empty model is generally preferred for planning and is covered in a separate video. Now you can choose your data source. When the data has finished loading, the right panel displays details about the model, including whether it's enabled for planning. In this case, the model is intended for analytics, so planning can be disabled. Before you make any other changes, you may want to save the model, as some options are not available until the model has been saved. A version dimension is automatically generated when you save the model. By default, the model displays in list view, with the columns from the data source categorized as measures and dimensions. Optionally, you can switch to graph mode to view the data structure of the model. From here, you can create new measures or dimensions, change the data type of a measure or dimension, convert a measure to a dimension or vice versa, and copy or delete a measure or dimension. For example, longitude has been identified as a measure rather than a dimension, so you can convert it to a dimension. The data foundation displays at the bottom of the screen, where you can see a column for each measure and dimension. When you select a measure or dimension in the model list or graph view, the associated column is selected in the data foundation and shows column details in the right panel, where you can change the name or description of the selected column and make other adjustments depending on the column type. For measures, you can adjust the data type, aggregation settings, unit type, and formatting options. For dimensions, you can change the dimension type. Optionally, you can also add properties, such as designating a column as the description for the selected dimension. If you want to use features such as level-based hierarchies, data access control and roles, geo-enrichment, currency properties, data validations, support for multiple languages, and planning features such as assigning a person responsible for dimension members, data locking, and validation roles, you can generate a dimension table to enable master data management options for the dimension. Keep in mind that when you add a property that requires a dimension table, the table is created for you automatically. For example, the data here includes latitude and longitude columns that can be used to geo-enrich the model for use in geomaps. You can select other columns from the data source to make them properties of the dimension, or create new property columns manually. If a validation issue is detected, you're prompted to review the issue. Here, there's a mismatch in the values for one location because of an extra character. You can choose the desired value to resolve the issue. The latitude and longitude columns now appear as properties of the store dimension. In the right panel, the dimension table properties display, providing a range of additional features for rights and access, as well as languages and translation. You can also edit the dimension table, either from the link in the dimension table or from the associated icon in the type column. Here, you can make manual edits to the data values, such as adding new members. When you're finished, you can return to the model structure. For all dimensions and measures, you can also apply transformations to the data. When you select an item in the model view, the data transformation option appears in the data foundation. Here, working with a sample of data from the data source, you can create transforms to concatenate columns, split columns, extract values, replace values, change the case, or filter values in the data. You can also duplicate or delete selected columns. Transformations are also available for cells within columns. For example, you can use the replace option to replace one value with another. The Data Transformation view also gives you the option to validate the full dataset to resolve any issues. You're prompted to save any changes before returning to the model structure view. To define new measures, you can switch to the Calculation Management workspace. From here, you can create new measures or calculated measures, which are defined using formulas. For assistance in creating calculations, you can open the Formula Editor, which provides lists of available functions and operators. You can open the model settings to get access to language options, set access and privacy settings, adjust date settings such as using a fiscal year, enable planning capabilities, configure currency conversion, set structure priority for models that include an account dimension, and configure data performance options. Once you've applied the appropriate settings, you can save your changes. After the model has been saved, you can access the Data Management workspace to import additional data to the model, export the model as a file, or export the model data. For more information on what you can do by creating models starting with data, check out the help topic links in the description and try it for yourself today.